Dawn broke over Nuevo Laredo on October 11, 2014, painting the Puente Internacional bridge in orange light. Manuel Córdoba, a maintenance worker climbing the cables at 6:47 a.m., stopped when he saw the body. DEA Agent Victor Ramirez hung from the steel framework, arms spread wide. A silver badge was nailed through his chest, the kind that once meant untouchable authority on both sides of the border. Rewind 72 hours, Culiacan International Airport, 3:47 p.m., October 8th. Ramirez's hand connects with the face of Maria Consuelo Loera Perez, El Chapo's 86-year-old mother. 12 phones captured it. By 4:12 p.m., the footage exploded across cartel WhatsApp groups. By 6 p.m., El Chapo had watched it 14 times from his mountain compound. One text went out to his lieutenants. 72? What happened in those 3 days wasn't about drugs or money. It was about something older than law, deeper than fear. And it ended with that badge glinting in the sunrise. Victor Ramirez spent 14 years hunting ghosts. By September 2014, the 42-year-old DEA veteran had become obsessed with one name, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. After the Kingpin's 2001 escape from Puente Grande prison, smuggled out in a laundry cart according to official reports, Ramirez made it personal. Operation Mirror in February 2014 netted $400 million in cartel assets, cash stacked in warehouses across 3 states. Time magazine ran a feature, "The Man Who Won't Quit." At the Medal of Valor ceremony in Washington, Ramirez's speech lasted 90 seconds. "We don't negotiate, we don't bow, we enforce." The crowd stood, cameras flashed, his silver badge caught every angle of light. Back in his Virginia apartment that night, he polished it with a soft cloth. Same ritual before every operation, same superstition. The metal gleamed under his desk lamp. People close to him said he believed that badge made him bulletproof, that federal authority transcended borders, cultures, ancient codes about family. His partner, Carlos Rodriguez, tried to warn him over beers one night. In Mexico, family is religion. Touch that, you touch everything. Ramirez ordered another round. 3 weeks later, he'd learn exactly what his badge was worth south of the border. Maria Consuelo Loera Perez lived in the Badiraguato Mountains, La Tuna, they called it, the village where El Chapo was born in 1957. By October 2014, at 86 years old, she'd become something more than a mother. She was La Reina, the queen. Cartel leaders made pilgrimages to her small compound seeking blessings before major operations. Monthly, she'd fly to Guadalajara for shopping trips, always VIP treatment at the airport, always untouched despite decades of DEA surveillance photographs. The story goes she acted as a financial courier, moving money through legitimate channels nobody dared investigate because everyone understood the cost. There was an unwritten rule across all law enforcement agencies, Mexican and American: you don't touch the mother. El Chapo's brief 2013 capture by Mexican Marines hadn't lasted long. He'd soon escape again, already planning what would become his legendary July 2015 tunnel breakout from Altiplano maximum security prison, a mile-long passage with lighting and ventilation. Through everything, his mother remained visible, moving freely, protected by something stronger than bodyguards or guns. On October 7, 2014, DEA intelligence flagged her scheduled Culiacan flight. Significant cash movement suspected. Ramirez saw golden opportunity, public humiliation of cartel royalty. Rodriguez saw something else entirely. "This isn't strategy," his partner said, watching Ramirez review airport blueprints in their Guadalajara hotel room, red pen circling the VIP lounge. "This is ego talking." Some lines exist precisely because crossing them costs everything. October 8, 2014, 3:47 p.m. Culiacan International Airport smelled like jet fuel and cologne and fear. Maria Consuelo Loera Perez walked through the terminal flanked by 3 bodyguards, her Louis Vuitton luggage rolling smooth behind her on polished tile. She moved like royalty because here, in Sinaloa, she was exactly that. Ramirez and 4 DEA agents intercepted her at the VIP lounge entrance. The confrontation was public, loud, deliberately theatrical. Luggage unzipped and dumped, $180,000 in cash spread across the polished floor. Neat stacks, $100 bills, the kind that photograph beautifully for evidence reports. Then Ramirez did it. His open hand connected with her face, not hard enough to seriously injure an 86-year-old woman, but hard enough to echo, hard enough for everyone to hear. "Where's your son?" 12 witnesses. 8 phones already recording from different angles. Airport security personnel stood frozen. "You just touched La Reina," an airport cop whispered to his partner. Maria Consuelo said absolutely nothing. She stared at Ramirez with certainty, zero fear, direct eye contact like she was counting seconds in her head, already knowing how this story ended. In her luggage, beneath the seized cash, Ramirez found a handwritten letter on expensive paper. "Los protectores, the son pays every debt." He photographed it quickly before evidence lockup. By 4:12 p.m., the slap footage was uploaded to every cartel WhatsApp group in Sinaloa, Jalisco, Durango. Disrespect travels faster than authority ever could. 4:30 p.m., October 8th. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman sat in a Sierra Madre mountain compound, laptop open on a wooden table, surrounded by 6 sicarios carrying AK-47s. He watched the airport footage loop, his mother's weathered face, the federal agent's hand making contact, the silver DEA badge visible in every camera angle catching fluorescent airport light, official and meaningless. He watched it 14 times without changing expression, without speaking, just pure calculation happening behind his eyes. Then he picked up his phone and sent one text message to his lieutenants across Sinaloa, Jalisco, and Chihuahua. 72, 2 digits, cartel code older than smartphones and encrypted apps, older than DEA task forces and billion-dollar operations. 72 hours to respond to family dishonor. Everyone who received that message understood immediately what it meant and what was about to happen. In Guadalajara, DEA headquarters lit up Ramirez's phone. His supervisor's voice was tight, controlled. "Agent Ramirez, you're coming home. Tonight. Non-negotiable." Ramirez refused flat. "We have the letter. There's a complete network here. Los Protectores, 14 police chiefs confirmed on cartel payroll. Sir, this could dismantle their entire protection system across 3 states. Static on the line. His supervisor exhaled slowly. "You have 12 hours. Then we extract you by force. Rodriguez is already evacuating." Rodriguez packed his gear at Hotel Lucerna, caught the 9 p.m. flight to El Paso under protest, texting warnings the whole way to the airport. Ramirez checked into a different hotel using a clumsy alias, Roberto Mendez, cash payment, and spread the letter photograph across his laptop screen in room 308. Outside, 3 cartel surveillance teams were already positioning themselves in the parking structure and across the street. In his room, the silver badge sat on the nightstand under lamplight, reflecting his obsession back at him. Curiosity without caution becomes a countdown. Ramirez had 48 hours remaining, October 9th, morning sunlight through hotel blinds, cutting stripes across the bedspread. Ramirez hadn't slept, hadn't even tried. He studied the letter photograph like ancient scripture, like it contained codes that would unlock everything. Los Protectores, Not sicarios or street-level dealers, but something much more valuable. A payment network, protection infrastructure. He cross-referenced DEA databases on his laptop, facial recognition software running in the background, names appearing one by one. 14 individuals appeared in the reports, all police chiefs or high-ranking municipal officers, all strategically positioned across Sinaloa, Jalisco, and critically, Nuevo Laredo, near the Texas border. The letter specifically named 3, Chief Ortega in Guadalajara, Comandante Ruiz in Culiacan, Comandante Vega in Nuevo Laredo. If Ramirez could verify this network, get evidence, flip just one of these officials, the testimony could collapse cartel operations spanning 3 Mexican states and cost the Sinaloa organization hundreds of millions in lost protection. He called his supervisor at 9 a.m. "I need 36 more hours. This is bigger than we thought." Long pause. Static. Traffic noise in the background on the supervisor's end. "You have 12 hours maximum, then we're sending an extraction team whether you like it or not." Click. Deadline. Ramirez didn't notice the silver Honda Civic parked strategically across from the hotel's side entrance, engine running, 2 men inside wearing sunglasses and watching his window. Didn't notice the burgundy Nissan Sentra positioned on the 3rd level of the parking structure, with clear sightlines to his room's balcony. The cartel surveillance teams had identified him within 4 hours of his check-in the previous night. Same beard visible in the airport videos, same build, same federal agent posture and confidence that made him stand out like a lighthouse. Inside room 308, Ramirez zoomed the letter photograph until pixels became visible. One name practically jumped off the screen: Comandante Vega, Nuevo Laredo. Cross-reference showed known associations with Zeta's cartel leadership. Known to attend weekly coordination meetings at an industrial district warehouse on the south side. Intelligence reports suggested he handled protection payments for cross-border smuggling routes. Ramirez's fingers moved across the keyboard, muscle memory, booking a 6 p.m. Aeromexico flight to Nuevo Laredo. Here's the thing about federal agents who've tasted real victory. They start believing their own press releases, their own legend. Time magazine feature. Medal of Valor ceremony. $400 million seized in one operation. The badge sitting on the nightstand caught afternoon sun streaming through the window, small and silver, and supposedly representing untouchable authority. Outside his hotel, more engines idled, walkie-talkies crackled with position updates. The answer you're chasing is often the trap that's been set. 2 p.m., October 9th. Ramirez made contact with Carlos, local DEA informant, 3 years on federal payroll, decent track record providing intelligence on mid-level cartel operations in Jalisco. What Ramirez didn't know and couldn't have known, Carlos had been turned exactly 2 months earlier. Double agent. Cartel money paid 3 times what federal salary provided, and Carlos had family to feed, debts to settle, survival to think about. Comandante Vega's definitely meeting with traffickers tonight, Carlos confirmed over an encrypted phone call, voice steady and convincing. Industrial zone on the south side of Nuevo Laredo, 11 p.m. warehouse near the bridge. I can get you the exact address. Ramirez saw it clearly now, the whole operation unfolding in his mind like a movie. Corrupt police chief plus cartel leadership, all gathered in one location. Arrest Vega on the spot, flip him with federal prosecution threats, use his testimony to verify the entire letters network, and collapse protection infrastructure across the border region. It was perfect. Too perfect, actually. But ambition and obsession have a reliable way of silencing the small voice of doubt. He booked a 6 p.m. direct flight to Nuevo Laredo, no stops, no backup team, no coordination with local DEA office. His supervisor explicitly denied permission via email at 3:47 p.m. Ramirez went anyway, packing light, badge clipped prominently to his belt and visible through his jacket because he wanted it visible, needed it visible. He wanted everyone at Nuevo Laredo Airport to know exactly what he represented. Federal authority doesn't hide or apologize. Rodriguez sent one final desperate text message from his apartment in El Paso at 5:47 p.m. "They're leading you to the border for a specific reason. Please, don't go." Message delivered, message read, message ignored. Ramirez was already at Guadalajara Airport, boarding pass in hand, walking toward his gate with absolute confidence. The thing about Nuevo Laredo in October 2014, it wasn't really a city anymore in any normal sense. It was a Zetas cartel stronghold, a territory, a place where bodies hung from highway overpasses as public messages, where municipal police worked directly for organized crime and everyone else stayed inside after dark and prayed. Ramirez knew all this from intelligence briefings, went anyway. The flight lasted 90 minutes through clear skies. He landed at Nuevo Laredo International Airport at 8:47 p.m., confident, tired, absolutely convinced he was closing in on something worth every risk. 3 black Chevrolet Suburbans with tinted windows waited in the arrivals area parking lot, engines running, passengers watching the terminal exit. The hunter who follows every lead eventually becomes the hunted. 9 p.m., Hotel Reforma, downtown Nuevo Laredo, 3 blocks from the International Bridge. Ramirez checked in at the front desk using his real name, Victor Ramirez, United States Drug Enforcement Administration, badge number 4729, federal credentials presented with casual authority. Fatal error that he'd realized too late. The front desk clerk, 23-year-old kid named Miguel Garcia, immediately recognized the name from internal cartel alert messages that circulated through his phone. Everyone who worked in Nuevo Laredo worked for someone, and Miguel worked for the right people if he wanted to keep breathing. He texted a cartel contact while printing Ramirez's room key, DEA badge, room 412, just checked in. Message received, forwarded up the chain, acted upon within 8 minutes. Outside the hotel, 2 Suburbans repositioned themselves strategically, one facing the main lobby entrance with clear sight lines, one positioned near the service exit in case the target tried something clever. 8 sicarios total between both vehicles, waiting patiently, smoking cigarettes, checking weapons. Ramirez unpacked his laptop in room 412, 4th floor, window facing the street. He pulled up files on Comandante Vega, home address in the Northern District, mistress's apartment near the industrial zone, the warehouse Carlos had mentioned for tonight's supposed meeting, surveillance photographs from previous DEA operations, movement patterns, known associates, vehicle descriptions. He planned careful midnight reconnaissance, drive past the warehouse in a rental car, confirm suspicious activity, call for backup if high-value targets appeared. Solid professional plan. He checked his Glock 9mm, counted ammunition magazines, clipped the silver badge prominently to his belt, where it caught lamplight. Outside his 4th-floor window, October heat made the pavement shimmer even at night. Streetlights flickered yellow across empty boulevards. At 11:30 p.m., Ramirez walked confidently through the hotel lobby toward the exit. Miguel watched him leave, texted again immediately. "Target moving." The tail operation started within seconds, one Suburban, pulling out 3 cars behind Ramirez's rental, headlights deliberately off, following through empty streets toward the southern industrial zone. Nuevo Laredo at night looks like the end of civilization, streetlights systematically broken, warehouses dark and abandoned, no witnesses anywhere by design or by terror. Ramirez noticed the tail at exactly 11:48 p.m. Checked his rearview mirror at a red light. Headlights appeared 2 blocks back, disappeared when he looked directly, reappeared when he looked away. Professional surveillance. He accelerated testing. They matched his speed perfectly. Industrial warehouses blurred past on both sides. Concrete walls, steel fencing, razor wire catching moonlight. His right hand instinctively touched the badge on his belt. Muscle memory, federal training, the thing that was supposed to protect him anywhere in North America. But instinct arrives precisely when it's already too late to matter. His rental car was being forced systematically toward the bridge approach. 11:54 p.m., October 9th. Ramirez's rental vehicle suddenly blocked on the Puente Internacional approach road. 2 Suburbans positioned ahead, blocking forward progress, one behind eliminating reverse. Nowhere to maneuver or run. 8 armed men emerged from the vehicles with tactical precision, no rushing or panic. They surrounded his car in a practiced formation. Ramirez understood the situation immediately, training taking over. No backup within 20 miles, no witnesses on this empty stretch, no way out. He exited the vehicle with both hands clearly visible, Federal Academy training controlling his movements. Show compliance, identify yourself clearly, establish authority through credentials. I'm a United States DEA agent, badge number 4729, federal officer. The Sicario leader, mid-30s, completely dead eyes, AK-47 slung casual across his chest, smiled without warmth. El Señor sends his regards to your mother. Direct reference to the slap, to the airport footage that had played on loop across every cartel phone for the past 2 days. They took the badge carefully from his belt, examined it under the yellow streetlight. Silver metal, official federal seal, his number engraved across the bottom. One Sicario photographed Ramirez holding the badge, sent the image somewhere via phone for approval from higher authority. The response came back fast. Ramirez tried reason, tried authority, tried threats. This is a death sentence for all of you. The DEA will hunt down every single... You sentenced yourself at the airport, the leader interrupted quietly. They drove him in one of the Suburbans to a warehouse near the bridge. Industrial zone, no functioning lights, the kind of place where screams don't travel and nobody investigates anything. Inside the warehouse, bare concrete floor, metal folding table, single chair. His badge placed carefully on the table beside his confiscated cell phone. Both objects looked impossibly small under harsh fluorescent light. The story goes they offered him one chance: give up DEA informant names throughout Sinaloa, walk away alive, relocate to the United States. Ramirez refused immediately. But this whole operation was never really about extracting information or intelligence. It was about family honor, about a 72-hour deadline that had been ticking since the moment his hand made contact with Maria Consuelo's face in front of witnesses and cameras. Authority ends precisely where respect was never earned in the first place. The 72 hours were almost finished. October 10th, dawn light filtering through warehouse skylights. The interrogation lasted several hours, not for intelligence value, but for absolute certainty and completion. Cartel leadership needed confirmation. This was definitely the right man, the airport agent, the one who'd crossed the uncrossable line. Ramirez confirmed it himself, still defiant even then, still believing somehow in federal authority. I'd do it again. Your boss's mother is a criminal courier. El Chapo's orders transmitted from the mountain compound had been completely specific. Make it visible, make it permanent, make it educational. The execution itself was surprisingly clean. No torture, no extended spectacle beyond what was strictly necessary for the message. People close to the operation later said it was almost respectful, if such a word can possibly apply, to cartel killings. Efficient, professional. By mid-morning, Ramirez finally understood with complete clarity. This was never about the letter he'd discovered in Maria Consuelo's luggage, never about Los Protectores or corrupt police chiefs or dismantling protection networks. It was only ever about the slap, about one federal agent believing a badge could transcend culture, family, code. They made him record a video message on someone's phone, never released to media or public, kept as internal cartel legend for distribution among sicarios and associates. I disrespected Lorena. I forgot where I was. His voice remained steady, face bruised but oddly composed, almost accepting. The video file still exists somewhere in encrypted phones, passed between cartel members as cautionary tale and training material. Preparation for the bridge display began that afternoon with careful planning. His badge was polished almost ceremonially by one of the sicarios until it gleamed like new, a single 4-inch steel nail driven through the badge's center with a hammer. The metal bent slightly under force but held together. Some prices aren't negotiable in any currency, and some debts can't be paid with anything except blood. By midnight, the Puente Internacional bridge was ready. Ramirez was dead. The badge waited, small silver, completely transformed from symbol of authority into warning, into monument, into message. At dawn, Manuel Córdoba would climb those cables and find both. October 11th, 2014, 6:47 a.m. Manuel Córdoba climbed the Puente Internacional's steel cables for routine maintenance, coffee still warm in his dented thermos. The body appeared first as silhouette against orange sunrise, arms spread wide, almost peaceful from a distance. Then details resolved as he climbed closer. DEA Agent Victor Ramirez hanging from the steel framework, still dressed in the same clothes he'd worn leaving Hotel Reforma the previous night. The silver badge nailed prominently to his chest. No visible signs of torture. Clean execution meant as pure symbol, not sadism. Córdoba called it in immediately, hands shaking badly on his radio. Tengo un cuerpo. American. DEA. Mexican federal authorities notified their DEA counterparts within 20 minutes. Crime scene processed by 9 a.m., body removed by fire department crane, badge photographed by investigators from 12 different angles for evidence files. Each photograph showed the nail hole clearly, the bent metal, the engraved number, still legible. 4729. DEA headquarters in Washington requested immediate media blackout. No press statements, no public acknowledgement, no confirmation. Too late. Cartel WhatsApp groups were already circulating comparison images, airport slap on left side, bridge hanging on right side. Caption simple, 72 horas, siempre. Message absolutely clear. Comandante Vega, the fake meeting target that had lured Ramirez to Nuevo Laredo, found alive and unharmed at his home, confused by DEA questions. The meeting had been complete fiction, bait, trap. The message wasn't really for Ramirez himself. He was already gone. It was for everyone who came after him. But the story wasn't finished. October 11th to 15th, 2014. DEA internal investigation moved fast and quiet behind closed doors. Ramirez's decision to ignore direct extraction orders earned him an official reprimand, posthumous, filed in classified records, meaningless now. Partner Rodriguez testified behind closed doors in Washington. He was warned multiple times. He believed the badge protected him everywhere. Truth, but incomplete. The full truth was more complicated, more human. Maria Consuelo Loera Perez was never charged with any crime, never formally questioned, never mentioned in any official reports. The $180,000 seized at Culiacan Airport was returned quietly through Mexican diplomatic channels. The letter about Los Protectores, verified completely real, names confirmed accurate, network later dismantled partially in 2016, became legally untouchable evidence. Ramirez's death made it toxic, politically complicated, impossible to prosecute without acknowledging exactly how it was obtained. Joaquin El Chapo. Guzman himself was recaptured in January 2016 after another dramatic escape, finally extradited to the United States in 2017. Life sentence without parole. But that's a different story entirely. DEA policy changed quietly. No operations against immediate cartel family members without director-level approval and full tactical support. Ramirez's Medal of Valor remained on permanent display at headquarters in a polished glass case, no mention of Nuevo Laredo anywhere in the memorial plaque. His badge, the actual one, the one with the nail hole, was returned to his family in a sealed ceremony. They were told simply he died during a border operation. Specific operational details classified. Legacy is what survives the truth. But in Sinaloa, they tell a different story. October 2014 to present day. The story evolved into cartel folklore, La Placa y el Puente. The badge and the bridge. New sicarios hear it during training sessions, a cautionary tale about what happens when authority forgets its limits. The central lesson: family honor outranks government power, always, everywhere, no exceptions. Maria Consuelo gave exactly one interview in 2016, sitting in her La Tuna home surrounded by mountains and memories and family photographs. Reporter asked about the DEA agent. She smiled gently. "I don't remember him." Ultimate dismissal. He wasn't worth remembering, just another man who forgot where he was. She died in December 2017, age 89, surrounded by family. No law enforcement attended the funeral. El Chapo's empire continued despite his imprisonment, despite extradition, continuing through his sons. The airport slap footage still circulates in cartel circles, viewed as educational material about respect and consequences. Psychological impact was measurable. DEA agents working Mexico became noticeably less aggressive with family members. New badges were issued across the agency in 2015. Slightly different design, same silver finish, same engraved identification numbers. But agents who work the border carry them differently now, less visible, more careful about displays of authority. Fear is the currency of power, and one death bought decades of it. Badge number 4729 sits in an evidence locker somewhere in Virginia, still marked by that nail, present day. Ramirez's story is taught at the DEA Academy, context carefully redacted for legal reasons. Official version: agent lost during border operation, October 2014. Real version, known by every agent who works Mexico, whispered over drinks at conferences, shared as warning to new recruits. Rodriguez retired in 2016, never returned to Mexico, never gave another interview about that week. Comandante Vega, the fake lead that drew Ramirez to Nuevo Laredo, was found murdered in 2017. Unrelated cartel dispute. The Los Protectores network, 11 of 14 named officials arrested and convicted by 2018. But Ramirez never got credit. His family received full pension benefits, no details, no explanations. Badge 4729. Archived, never reassigned to another agent. El Chapo serves life in Supermax, but the slap remains legend in Sinaloa, told and retold, growing with each telling. Current DEA agents in Mexico carry badge identification, but never display it openly. The badge sits in an evidence box under fluorescent light in a Virginia warehouse, nail hole through its center. Small, silver, once gleaming with federal authority. Now it carries weight of a different kind. Not protection, but warning, not power, but price paid. Victor Ramirez wanted to be untouchable, wanted his federal authority to transcend borders, cultures, the unwritten rules that keep blood off bridges. Instead, he became unforgettable, not for Operation Mirror's $400 million seizure, not for his Medal of Valor, but for one slap and 72 hours that followed. The keys to understanding Mexico weren't in his academy manual. They were in the silence of an 86-year-old woman who knew her son would pay every debt. The badge stayed nailed. The body came down. The legend never went anywhere.